Hey besties, I hope y'all are having a great day. First, I want to show y'all that I'm drinking an energy drink because I'm freaking tired. Tonight is my third 12 night in a row and I have had a freaking morning at work. I'm going to tell y'all about that, but it just literally already is making me out of breath. So I just got out the shower. I didn't brush my hair because I'm going to dye it tomorrow when I'm off. So I just brushed it, even though it already doesn't look like it. I just brushed it and put it up. But yeah, I brushed my teeth and everything. Make sure you put on deodorant, perfume. Make sure you brush your teeth, do all the things. I'm also going to do some whitening stuff on my teeth later. But I got to tell y'all what happened at freaking work. Because I was so pissed this morning. And I still am, to the point where I talked to my boss. I called HR. I did all the things that I wanted to do. Okay, so I'm with my client 3 nights out of the week. I do 3 12-hour shifts with this client, okay? So 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday through Tuesday. So we're in a building, but she has her own room. The night's going good, work's going good, everything's going great. Then around 6:45 in the morning, someone unlocks the door. I hear it with the key because I'm awake. I hear it with the key and I hear them barge in. So I get up and I hurry up and look, and it's one of the workers there. Well, 2 of them. And one of the workers says, "Why is this basket outside?" Okay, so rewind a little bit. My client had an accident where I had to change her bed sheets. Okay, they got wet, which is normal for incontinent clients. I mean, if you're with a patient and they're incontinent, that's gonna happen. That's part of our job. So I cleaned her up, showered her, got her dressed, and clean clothes, changed her bedding, got her tucked back in bed. I put all of her sheets, her dirty sheets, in a basket, okay? I put it out by the door. They were there for over an hour, and that's when the lady who works there barges in, and she's like, "What is this doing outside?" And she was just freaking rude. So I looked at her and I said, "Well, you know, my client had an accident, so they're wet, they need to be washed." And she said, "Well, we have special days, so we're not going to wash her. We can't just accommodate her, you know, and all that." And she starts going off with, you know, days that she has that she's supposed to wash their laundry. Everyone has a set schedule, whatever. And I said, "Well, I've been here for months, and the other caregivers that I work with have been here for a really long time also. And no one has ever told us that. We've always just put the basket out. Y'all come get it. Y'all never complain. So this is the first time I heard of it." Now, mind you, I've never seen this lady before, but I know she works there. She's wearing a badge and all that good stuff. Then next thing you know, she starts pulling it back in the room. She says, "Well, I'm not going to wash them." And I said, "Okay, well, I guess I'll let her family know because they have pee in them. They can't just sit in here, you know, for however long." So I said, "I'll let her family know." At this time, she starts closing the door while I'm right there talking to her. She just keeps trying to close the door. So I grabbed the door and I held it open and I said, "You can leave it open." And I acted like I was like going out the room to like get some water or something. And she just looked at me and she just like said something under her breath, like a few choice words. So she walks off, and right as she walks off is like a corner. So she walks around the corner like really fast. And then the lady who she's with, I guess she was like training her or something on that floor. I don't know. But the lady looks at me and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And so I said, loud, I said, "Ma'am, what's your name?" After she walked around the corner. And she said, "What? Huh? Why are you asking my name? I don't have to give you my information," while she's walking back around the corner. And then she stands there and she looks at me and she said, "I don't have to give you that." I said, "Well, actually you do." I said, "We work in a facility. You have a name tag on, you know, what's your name?" So then she walks up to me right in my face. Like when I tell you in my face, like this close to my face where it's not comfortable, like you need to get out my face right now. So she walks up to my face and I look down and I see her name on her shirt. When I see her name, I said, I don't even care. Her name's Michelle. And I looked down and I said, "All right, Michelle, I'll let your supervisor know about what happened this morning." She starts mumbling under her breath and just talking crap, cussing, and then she just walks off. So I was like, okay, whatever. So then about, let's see, this happened within about not even 5 minutes. So the next aide comes to relieve me. When she walks in, you know, I'm going to tell her what happened. But when she walks in, as soon as she walks in, she said, "What happened with you and, you know, whoever?" And I said, "Why? What?" I was like, "What did you hear?" And I said, "Because something did happen." And she was like, "Oh, well, as soon as I walked in, she came up to me and she was like, I don't know who that bitch is that's sitting in that room, but if she gets in touch with my supervisor and wants to talk to her, then I'll get in touch with her supervisor and there will be problems," or something. She might have not said problems, but there will be issues, something like that. And I started laughing. I said, you know what? I said, she was rude. That was unprofessional, you know, whatever. So I left there and I called my boss. Oh, and then supposedly this lady is actually a lady who, the lady who relieved me that works for my company, she actually had complaints on her before. And there was actually more complaints. So they actually moved Michelle, the one who was causing problems, up to a different floor. So that's why I haven't seen her on this floor. So I don't know why she was on this floor, whatever. But she told me that she had problems with her too, and she had to call the HR, whoever, and it was a huge thing. And so anyway, I called HR today. They didn't answer, and then I called back again after lunchtime so I could see if she answered. And the girl at the desk answered the phone, and she said, "This is Michelle." So I think it was her. I'm not sure, because she had the same name, but she sounded more like, she didn't have an attitude, of course, but I told her, I said, "Hey, can I speak to HR?" She said, "Who is this calling?" And then she tried to be like really kind. And I told her, I said, "Samantha." And she said, "And what do you need to talk to HR for?" And I said, "It's just a personal issue. Can I please, you know, transfer me over, please?" And she said, "Well, I really need to know what y'all are, you know, like what you're calling for." And I said, "No, you don't." I said, "If she's not in the office, I'll leave a message for her and I'll talk to, you know, HR, him or her, whenever they call me back." And she said, "Okay." And she transferred me, and I left a message. Never got a call back yet, which has been a couple of hours. But my boss, I called him right when I walked out that door, and I told him what was going on. And then he messaged me later and said, which is crazy, he messaged me like 4 minutes after I talked to him, and he said, basically like they already got complaints on her and they're like investigating it or whatever. But what's funny is the office, HR is not going to be in the office that early. And second off, I just don't think he talked to her. And I don't feel like going to work tonight, because if my company is not going to support me and back me up, then that just irks my nerve. The whole situation irks my nerves, but your company should back you up. And my company should have definitely backed me up and said, "Okay, we're going to nip this in the butt now. This isn't the first or second or third time this has happened with the same person. We're calling corporate HR, whatever." And when I looked at the time that we hung up the phone to the time that he had texted me that they're taking care of it, it wouldn't add up. You wouldn't have had enough time to call, get through to her line. Plus, they weren't in the office at that time. So I don't know who you would have talked to. And then tell them the whole story and then call me back within 4 minutes. It just isn't going to happen. So anyways, my kids just got off the bus. I'm going back to work tonight. I don't know how it's going to go. I will let you know, but I'm still ticked off about it. And anyways, I hope y'all have a great day. I hope I have a good night. And oh, and then the lady who works for me, she was also like, yeah, if you like push the issue of what happened this morning, then Michelle's really gonna like be on your butt and be on top of you about stuff, and like there will be problems. And I don't even care about that, but you're not gonna, just like I told my boss, I was like, I came to work. No one's gonna talk to me and disrespect me. No, that's not gonna happen. We're adults. Like, I'm not gonna go to work and get disrespected, or I won't go. I'll find another job. But anyways, tell me what you would do. My kids just got off the bus, so I gotta go. But I will talk to y'all later. Bye.